Hello, and we are live from, do you recognize that building? Yes, this is, of course, La Torre del Oro, the Golden Tower. And I thought I'd stop before getting to the hotel because it'd be a great opportunity to share with you some of the thoughts that have come from the game. The first one has to be how happy were the fans of England that I spoke to on the way to here, and it's logical as well. They were cautiously happy, I must say, not just because of the second half performance, but just the fact that they think they've been here before, and they were like, I follow England everywhere, and it was great, but we have to build from this, and I think we haven't seen this before from England. The fact that there's a context to the win, there is something that's been built. There is a process, and yes, I'll talk about the penalty in a minute, John. But there's something that's been built, and I think Gareth Southgate and England needed a victory like this, one that actually says, look, what we are doing, which is first the idea, and then find the players that suit the idea, players that have been chosen because of their intelligence and their tactical ability and technical ability as well, tactical flexibility even. All that, it needed a victory like this. In the past, not so long ago, people used to say, how can we put all these talented players together? The Lampards and Gerrards, etc. Now, nobody was missed. John Stones was not missed, Henderson was not missed, and it was a game of two halves, and certainly England was superb in the first half, not so good in the second half, and I will accept that you will disagree with me, as Ryan Mason has done on Twitter, and I accept that, and sometimes you react to what you see straight away from the game. It's not necessarily perhaps the best reaction or the one that you will agree with, but that's what I felt and still feel, that England were absolutely superb in the first half. Superb. They had a plan, which was to make sure that they beat the pressure of Spain that was expected, but was clumsy, by playing it long when necessary, but a clever long pass, say the two Pickford passes to Kane was superb. Kane was brilliant, so was Pickford at the point. And then, making sure that the three men up front, Kane could hold the ball, but the other two, Rashford and Sterling, could actually use the pace against the fullbacks of Spain that were either too forward or not fast enough to beat that fast England. They were effective. England were effective. 3 shots on target in the whole game, 3 goals, 5 shots on goal, and out of which 3 goals. So you have to give it to England. There was a plan. They were effective. They defended well when they had to. The pressure was, they meant that pressure, and it was effective in the first half. And more importantly, England have gone from having one midfielder in the World Cup, Henderson. The others were not midfielders, to now have 3. With Winks and Barkley, they've shown that you need midfielders to actually get the best of the best England players, which are the forwards. So they left no space at all in between the lines, which is when Spain does damage. That forced Spain to be a little bit too direct, ball quickly to the box from wide areas, but not via the midfield or not via the players behind the strikers, those number 10s of quality. There was not much from Thiago, who had to defend to attack too deep or get the ball too deep, because England left no spaces whatsoever. Not much from Saul either, and England kept their defence and the spacing behind. They were very alerted, so there was not much that Rodrigo could do from behind or running behind, or Aspas either. So all in all, it was the perfect performance in the first half, and the 3 goals were very, very deserved. 17 passes before the 3rd goal. It was brilliant. It was really, really enjoyable, because that's what Gareth Southgate wants to do, a team that's flexible, that understands what happens in the game and reacts to it well. So all that was superb. As I said, Spain, they were a little bit complacent. It felt like, it just, there was so many accolades to Spain in the last few days that perhaps the players believe in it. And they liked it. We say they liked each other too much when you start passing the ball and not really meaning intent like we saw against Croatia or against England in Wembley. Forget Wales. I think what happens with Wales had to do more with Wales than with Spain. So yeah, that's what happened in the first half. And then Luis Enrique said that he was actually quite good at halftime, even though it was bad for him to say, because he could have killed everybody. But instead he said, look, to be a top side, you have to suffer sometimes, and you have to suffer to win sometimes. Then in the second half, and this is where I disagree with most people. With Terry Butcher, I did disagree on 5 Live. With Ryan Mason on Twitter, I thought England were not great in the second half. Now, I said poor even. Then I spoke to Harry Winks and Trippier, and they said, well, when you are 3-0 up, and then goes 3-1, you're almost like forced to psychologically. You start dropping deeper and deeper. I thought England could have been braver with the ball, tried to keep it for a bit longer. They couldn't pass the ball for long enough, and that, of course, meant that Spain grew into the game with the help of the Benito Villamarin and the fans from this wonderful city of Sevilla. Luis Enrique didn't look for excuses, but he said if that penalty had been given, the third goal would have been scored by the stadium. And he probably was right. Maybe it would have happened because there was plenty of time for that. And that's why I'm saying that England were poor, because we are now looking at the result and thinking, great result, bad. Spain scored twice, hit the post once, and in my eyes, it was a penalty and sending off for Pickford that could have changed matters. Some say it could have been a penalty and a yellow. Okay, whatever. But still, it would have turned things around. But you have to be lucky sometimes as well, especially when you defend deep and give possession to the rival. You have to have a little bit of luck to actually get the 3 points as England got. So, all in all, a great night for England. You have to build from there, of course, and take it from there. And for Spain, an alert sign, one that says, the day you forget to do the things that make you good, anybody can beat you, especially a very good England can beat you. Shane, you said that you think Busquets is slowing down. Busquets was to blame for the first goal. He rushed to pressure Pickford. So, of course, when Pickford very cleverly saw Kane was on his own. Yes, I think Busquets is struggling. I do feel that what can you do when Busquets is so important to the side? Perhaps give an opportunity to Rodri at some point, but Busquets is very, very important, and when he plays well and the team plays well, he becomes the Busquets of old. But yes, he does make some passing errors and surprisingly enough, errors in the way he pressured once or twice. Alexander says, what a beautiful city Sevilla is. Don't trash it, please. No, I tend to behave. It was disappointing that the police had to intervene, and some England fans were not at the best performance behaviour last night, and that's disappointing. I still don't get that. Why you have to behave like that when you're abroad. But it's a very deep conversation that we can have another time. So the fullbacks were awful, Masmoul says, and you're probably right. Marcos Alonso was his pace was found out by Sterling, was it? And Rashford had in Johnny somebody that can match him in pace, but Johnny didn't do a lot. And Marcos Alonso either didn't do a lot going forward. So you take on Ken getting assists, Posh says. Paul, I must tell you, he has been seen by the commentators. I was listening to Spanish radio. See, I do this thing of listening to the radio, even when I'm at the stadium, because that's where I was brought up watching football. Even when I'm in the stadium, I listen to the radio, and it was Spanish radio I was listening to, and a little bit of 5 Live too. And what I saw was, what I heard was a lot of commentary from the Spanish commentators saying Kane is superb. Don't take this into Kane is going to Real Madrid, but take it that he's actually a world-class player and has shown it again. He's intelligent, he's strong, assisting. Well, he actually played the role that he was asked. Hold the ball and make sure that you deliver to the fast players that you've got in the side. It was absolutely brilliant. So the Black Armour magazine says we beat you, deal with it. Ha 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 he. I'm okay, you know. In fact, somebody from the England camp said you must feel like you are what was split alliances, and it's a little bit like that. It was a game I was never going to lose. This was always going to be a draw or a win for me, because I love what Gareth Southgate is doing. I love the fact that a lot of people are understanding it as well, that they're patient with it. This victory was important. It was crucial, I think, because it will give even more credit and more time for Gareth Southgate to do what he's doing, which is taking England to the modern football. I always thought that it was a kamikaze mission, and it probably is still, in the sense that perhaps he won't get the benefits of it, as 2 years is perhaps a little bit not long enough for the Foden of this world and Sancho's and perhaps Sterling, Rashford, to actually get to the best. It may take a little bit longer, but in any case, loving what Gareth Southgate is doing. So I'm happy for the victory. Can Athletic win La Liga? Do you play for the Athletic Academy? I think he can. I think Athletic can play the league, but we'll leave that for later on. We're still on Spain-England. The English Betis supporter. Hello. I saw you earlier, and David is somebody who's actually living the dream of living in Sevilla. 5 years he's been here, speaks Spanish, talks to Real Betis radio, and he will be there tomorrow morning. And I always say the same: just take advantage of, do something that it will make you a richer person. Just go abroad, spend a year abroad, and it will open up your mind. It'll make you learn new languages, about a new culture, and it will help you with your profession as well. So nobody wants to live in Spain. All right, okay. I'll tell that to the 47 million people that live here. Can Spain compete with France? I got a little bit carried away in Five Live, and I forgot to say something I've been saying even after beating Croatia so clearly, which was, let's see what happens in the big game, not so much in the big games, but in the big tournaments, because we can win teams, any team, during the season, but the tournaments come, and the last 6 years we've been failing. So we will see. We will see if we can actually be at that level. I don't think there's much difference really between France, Belgium, Spain, Brazil. But in a tournament of 7 games, anything can happen in a knockout stage, in a knockout tournament. But Spain has to learn from this one. Learn that if you stop doing the things that make you good, as I said earlier, then anybody can beat you. And England was superb in the first 45 minutes. We didn't play to our strengths, and that's what happens. Anyway, that's it. I'll leave you here. I'm going back to the hotel. I see there is noise over there. If the bar is open, I might just stop for one and keep talking about football. For now, see you later and good night. Now, I always have the same problem. How do I turn this off? All right, let's try it this way. It's going. Bye.